should I, okay. So this is the joke. I can only start with laughter because once you get the real download, that was my face turning red. I just scraped off about an inch of my skin. Get ready, get ready. So once you get the real download, where's my beginning punchline? Is it just absurd laughter? Normally I start this video and it's like a backhand to your right. It's just okay. So maybe we don't need to start it off like that. Maybe like me just laughing and just pure absurdity. and and like drowned in humility is probably the way to go. It goes to show that this is not rehearsed. This is just the download for 7th house Hogwarts system NetSock. And we are humble creatures on this planet. Okay, so Hogwarts 7th house system. Let's say that again. Hogwarts becomes real. Say that again. So Hogwarts comes into the, like, it becomes real, and like that level of magic becomes real, and that level of higher intuition and intelligence becomes real because you began to hear Mother Goddess and listen instead of rationalize with excuses because you're just a human, that you don't have to do the 70,000 hours of work that Mother Goddess asked of you. Let me say that again. You began to listen to Mother Goddess and get off your fat fucking ass and do the 70,000 hours she asked of you instead of rationalize everything she asked of you because you're just a human. No, that can't be. No, that can't be what I'm supposed to do. No, that's not right. No, other people aren't required to do that. No, 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 no. So an ascended master goes, I understand. And if you're really an ascended master, you'll listen to Odessa and you'll just go, yes, 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 yes. And then 5 minutes later, you'll understand. And you'll get 5,000 teachings. And then you'll understand. And you'll go, yes, yes, yes. And then she'll tell you to fork out $5,000 and you'll just go, yes, yes. It doesn't matter if you're homeless or poor. You'll just go, yes. It doesn't matter if you're exhausted. You'll just go, yes. So right now I'm doing nothing. I'm doing nodding. And I'm doing the red/purple dahlia nodding. It's the mandatory requirement. See how it's like the leaves of a dahlia? You'll really see it when you start doing your magic canisters. 500 of them in red dahlias or purple dahlias. I owe it the bright red and then the darker, and then the darker, and then the black at the bottom. And then I have to actually create the net to go around. Like we have to weave the nets to attach everything so it doesn't fall off. And then on top, on every loop, we have at least 3 Rapello squibtums coming off of it. Let me say that again. On every single loop, we have 3 Rapello squibtums coming off of it. So if I have a dahlia loop, it has 3 Rapello squibtum. And then what I'm going to do, we put grape jelly in this. And then I also have to do a net with the Rapello squibtums for the lid. And then you realize that magic is work, and that you have 5,000 hours at least of the Rapello squibtum spell. Let's say that again. You have 5,000 hours of the Rapello squibtum spell, and you realize, like, you're supposed to anchor in the red ray, and then you're going to have to learn how to knit perfectly, and we're going to cover that quickly. And you're going to knit a full bodysuit, like you're going to have a beautifully well done knitted hat, face masks, maybe a pair of hats. We're going to talk about that. A beautiful scarf, and they're all going to be DNA Celtic knitted. Because if Maleficent or Odessa or Rava doesn't like it, it means that your craft quality is bad and she will not teach you magic. Let me say this again. If your handcraft work through the root chakra is bad, she will not teach you magic. I promise. If you lack self-control or development, this is why you spend 30,000 hours working on ribbons, at least 25,000, because that's the 7th house nutsock. You will not be gifted magic, because otherwise you will look like Brooke or Star, who rip people's skin off in the astral planes, and if they were handed a wand, would do the same exact thing. So I'm doing nothing, which is actually better than something, because my craft work is crap. I have no skills whatsoever. So the idea that I could point a wand at something and manifest anything, because I don't even understand the fundamental structure of that thing. I do not understand the engineering of how it's even built. I cannot, and we're going to learn sacred geometry. Oh yes, we will learn how to draw the pine cone before we shape the pine cone. We're also going to attach 5,000 Rapello squibtums to the pine cones, and they always come in pairs. Everything will come in a pair. That's the genetics version of it. So let me say this again. When I buy a pair of cups, I am now bound to grid it with the Rapello squibtum spell. So it's $300, 300 pounds this was. But the reality is that I will spend 30 to 40 hours, maybe 50 hours at least, setting a grid, a Rapello squibtum grid on these cups. So now I know I'm 100% aware of my purchases, not just my magical purchases. Let me say this again. All purchases are magic. I understand fully the CRI, or the cyclical return integration, or the mental return integration of what this purchase created. But now I'm going to put the Rapello squibtum spell all over it. And now it has a net sock vibe. I also clean it out with rose oil at least 100 times. So if I have stuff that's sacred and it's not filled with red, yeah, then it's not sacred. So we're going to talk about all the genetics of the Rapello school. Let's just start. So genetics is like this. I have a pair of chromosomes. So I have a pair of chromosomes right here, and they're not gridded with Rapello squibtum, and it's as within, so without. So this is not magic. This is just stuff. Until I do all of my beautiful knotting on it. Yep. So, and then we're gonna go, oh, I have salt. Now I get, Simon and I get like 2 different canisters of salt for the most part. One of them's red and one of them's blue. And it kind of reminds me of the Gryffindor blue marks. That's cool. So every time I replace a new one, I take the old one and I do, even if it's icky, even if it's kind of trashy at the bottom, I take the container and the container will be filled with miniature versions. So like ones that are smaller than this, Rapello squibtums, and it will just be filled with it, and then it will be wrapped. And then the next canister, so you do it in pairs because it's a repeated pattern purchase. The next salt container will be also filled with Rapello squibtum, and then so will the variation. So I will get 2 of the red containers and then 1 more of these blue containers, and then I can purchase that. And what my mind does when we purchase those materials after we've gridded is different. Let me say this again. After I've gridded a genome of this salt, after I've gridded the genome of the red salt, when I go to purchase one or the other of them, it changes the way I think and believe and appreciate that salt. I am aware of the fundamental cost of that item. Now I have spent 50 hours thinking about this item. Now I go, where did this salt even come from? At the worst, if I haven't even done the research on that. Yeah, so that's just, it's disgusting. We are not aware of our levels of consumption at all on this planet. It is the consumer's fault. From Mother Goddess's standpoint, it is the consumer's fault and not the fault of the government. The government is just a dead thing. Let me say that again. The government has zero say whatsoever. They're just stupid like auto robots. And they're like dead people. They have no real insight. They have no conscience, and they have no real logical intelligence to even begin to process what Mother Goddess says. So it can't be their fault ever. At all. It is the ascended master or witch's fault for every single purchase that is made. 100%. There are no exceptions. It is at that level that it is your responsibility to research and fund and figure out your highest CRI return on purchases, and only purchase those items for infinity, because those are the items you will be forced to grid. Let me say this again. I know which granola that I will be allowed to buy and what I'm willing to spend 40 hours doing the Rapello squibtum on the packaging for. And I am not allowed to buy anything unless I'm willing to spend 40 hours on the packaging for it, because that packaging was stolen from this planet. And as an ascended master, I'm 100% aware of that. So like it's at that current space where Mother Goddess basically says that XR can go fuck itself. We still love them. But they're the ones at fault because they can't even do this level of work or education. So that's why they're at the best considered, if unless XR is going to be on the Ascended Master Squad, they are at best like half the time like an illegal Slytherin. That's the reality. All right, so you will be taking, if you did the Slytherin bone grafting, you will find a pair of pine cones and you will do 100% the Repello Squibtum on those pine cones, and then you will set them on your altar, and then you will realize that you're setting a fire. You're setting a fire. You are lighting a fire underneath your own ass. I'm not joking. If you're not running to save little children from pedo rings, you are going to have a fire under your ass because you're in Netsock doing knitting. If you're not running to save a whale to the point where you're going to get shot for it, then you're lighting a fire under your ass because you're a Netsock doing knitting or knotting. And then after you come home, after you saved the whale, you will come home and you will do your knitting or your knotting, and you will still light a fire underneath your ass. Because an Ascended Master is not like Star or Brooke. They are the reverse. They do 5,000 extra layers of work, and it manifests in the physical world because they understand the red ray. They will do 10,000 hours of yoga before they even qualify as a yoga instructor. Let me say that again. They will do 10,000 hours of yoga before they even qualify as a yoga instructor. In the Ascended Master lineage, they will be decertified 100% until they can prove that they understand actual yoga with 10,000 hours of intelligence. I've gone to way too many classes in my life. Okay. I have watched a vegan video where the girl endorsed the purchases of Oreos. I'm sorry, Oreos, because the Oreo was vegan, and I'm pretty sure she was a yoga instructor. Yeah, those people are going to be decertified on this planet. They have zero common sense. They do not understand how to use their brain, and then they're trying to license all day long. Okay, we're going to talk about stuff. Hairs and cooking with magic. All right. Do you make your own coffee? How many of these have you purchased or broken? Repurchased? Okay. So at least one of them sits in your Repello Squibtum shelf, and it's gridded, it's netted. It's netted. This is a really bad net. This was my first try and I did it wrong. but at least it was like, I'm learning all my lessons on this net. Do you see the red dahlia at the bottom? That's because the Repello squibtum is going to grow outward like it's a giant flame. I'm not joking. And I have matching of this jar. I have the other one's just sitting in the fridge. And like, so there's the mess up one, and then there's the better one. And that's always the case for every genome. When you have a pair of chromosomes, one is better than the other. Believe me. So the same thing, you're going to net this. You probably will have a dahlia at the bottom or a dahlia at the top, and then you'll have all your Repello squibtums. What do you do about the bottom? Just the bottom of the net, probably. And then you have all of it's a jar, so you fill it in with all of the Repello squibtums, and it's overflowing. It will be from your cup's overflow. So that's the coffee maker. So we did the salt. I don't see any pears here. I know it's a horrible experience. So your spice container, you delabel everything and you clean it. And you have matching spice containers. Let me say this again. If you buy separate spices from other companies, you find where you can have the same bottles of the same things and you delabel it. And if you cannot tell the difference between your ancho powder to your cayenne pepper to your paprika by smell and sight, then you're not in NetSoc. Let me say this again. You're in HODE. You are low. You have no business doing magic on this planet. You have no appreciation for sense or nature at all. If you cannot tell the difference of your own spices by taste, by sight, or by smell, you have no business doing magic on this planet. Zero NetSoc. This is illegal. Do you know how many Ravenclaw genetics grids that I set with it, though? Let me say this again. Do you see the picture of Isla with the baseball bat where she's got the cobras? Like everything was just picked up off the street because we went through Gabriel. Okay, so we spent a year setting the Ravenclaw genetics with this product. If you want to buy it, cool. I have to buy one more bottle, so I have, and that's it. That's the end. And then I will have it gridded. I don't know if I'm supposed to keep the label on it or not because it was about this specific label and this specific product in general. But I know I have to like grid the, like, do you know how many bottles of this we've purchased and done all the Ravenclaw genetics? So again, this will be netted. And it will have Repellos, and it will be a pair of them. Oh, wait, I have the same shampoo, but it's the lavender. So I have to do that to the lavender bottles. And then we have the hand wash, and it's the grapefruit version. So now we have 6 of them, and we're going to have matching pairs of all of it. And that's the end of our faith in nature stuff. And we're going to show you the better CRI, the optimum CRI purchases. Let me say that again. I'm not allowed to really buy this product anymore. It's been X'd out. I am required to buy organic charcoal soap, charcoal tea tree soap, without packaging in like 4 bars. And that has a CRI that I'm allowed to purchase. I am not allowed this product. Maleficent owns this planet. Let me say this again. Maleficent owns this planet, and I am beastie. Even if I was Maleficent, I have a more Maleficent master that I listen to, and she says no. And then also all the fairies say no. The little pixies go, nope, 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 go buy that one. And they're all on the same page. Okay, so we bought like 10 of these jars, and they're gonna all have these beautiful red dahlia, and then we do the Rapella, like 10 of this. Will take me at least a year. At least a year. And if I didn't have it and I just did the grape jellies and I dropped the grape jellies, there goes all my magic. Do you get how sick it is to waste any of the material or waste my time without doing 5,000 layers of Rapella Squibtum on it? It's disgusting. I'm not allowed to even buy this jar. This jar was stolen from the planet. Okay. My biggest lesson in life was getting into Ravenclaw and then going, okay, I have a Pret subscription. This is after I just cleaned out the Clippeth and was stabbed to death. And I was like, oh, maybe I have like a new life or new opportunity. I have a Pret subscription. So I'm going to go buy the best recyclable or like the best reusable container that I can find to put my coffee in. And I found it. It's the high, it doesn't spill. Like there's it doesn't have holes in it that spills. It's perfect. It's a ton, like I could throw it across the room and the cap doesn't fall off of it. And like like a car could drive over it and it will stay in one piece. Like it's the perfect cup. And it's that I will chop your head off. I'm not joking. Because Odessa or Maleficent doesn't care. It's still illegal. This is an illegal purchase, no matter what, because it was stolen from the planet. It doesn't matter if it has the highest ERI return on the planet. It's still, I will chop your head off. So I have to buy another one, and it has to be gridded. And it should be filled with Rapella Squibtum. And it should be matching color. And it doesn't matter if it's another 30 pounds. But at least it's going to the company that I am willing to support and endorse. Now it's like it's a red striping purchase. So it's like payment forward. So here's another 50 hours of my life. It might be 100 hours to grid. Oh my God. Okay, so let's talk about pies. So I didn't want to like keep buying the pie crust or like making pies. So while I'm like listening to Odessa Maleficent and we go into a store and she points out these and she goes, you're going to make the pies in this. So now I have to buy another pair because I have to use these. And then I have to have a pair that are gridded. I got these half price. Let's say this again. I bought these at half price and I was like, what is steal. So now I have to buy another pair, and then they have to be 100% like it should be netted at the top and nice nets, and then all the Repello squibtums at like. So now when I think about my magic, when I purchase this, it's 100. So it's my brain looks at these and sees the Repello squibtum grid, but it doesn't see the Repello squibtum grid until I've actually gridded them. And because I will cook with them as a pair, because it's Yoda balls. Let me say this again. Do you see how it's like, it's also this. Because I will cook with them as a pair. They're the Magic's Yoda. We did the Yoda ball pie. Did I just give something away that I wasn't allowed to? Did I say something good instead of something condemning? Or am I allowed to even say anything good? So like this is my this is my magic. So now I have to go and buy the same exact identical things because that's how my brain works. All right. So now we're going to talk about, we have only one of anything. So here is here's my teapot. So now I have to go find my teapot again and buy it again. And I'm allowed to like, at least I have one teapot that's clean. And then I have another teapot that's gridded. But when I think, after it's gridded, I think about this teapot and it's the same exact color and shape and size. And it works. So I went to go buy the filter and it was the wrong filter and it doesn't actually fit into my teapot. So that's a really big mistake. That cost me 8 pounds. Okay, so it didn't cost me 8 pounds. Like, let me teach you about 7,000 net suck. So I have to go back and buy the real one that does cost another 8 pounds. And then I have to buy the teapot and another one that costs another 8 pounds. But now I'm left with this, and now I have to find the teapot that would actually fit in this would fit into, and then another one, and then another one of these, and then buy it as a gift for somebody. So it costed me, it was an $80 purchase because I made a mistake. So that's the actual CRI. I'm not going to cry because that's my life. So I have these gloves. And if they're already falling apart, that's totally fine. I take these gloves and I sew on the Repello squibtum onto the gloves. I buy a needle or a pair of needles, and or 4 needles. And I do the Repello squibtum on the needles on the exact same set. And then I have the red thread, and then I sew on the Repello squibtum, the miniature ones, the little ones that are like from 1 millimeter ribbon or from 3 millimeter ribbon at the highest. And then these gloves, and then I can buy the same exact gloves to use to scrub. Okay. And then I know for a fact that it's the Repello squibtum gloves instead of like just some random cheap purchase that I thought that I was allowed to get away with buying something or having something that I didn't do 5,000 hours of work on. Okay. So let's talk about pie crusts. So I used to make these magic pies with this pie crust, and it wasn't really, it was what I could find. Let's say that. Like, I was too lazy to go into let's just listen to that statement right there. I was too lazy to go into how to make my own pie crust into the too too lazy to go how to make my own pie crust. And so I bought lots of these boxes. So I need to buy at least one more. just one more. And I am required to retroactively repel a scriptum all of my magic pies because this was the package that I used instead of 2 bags of the same flour that I had used. So that's in addition to all the flour bags. Let's say that again. It's another 500 hours. So we're going to talk about found things. Or should we go like, hold on, just hold, please. Just laugh. I'm going to show you some really interesting ways. All right. So we talked about the flour, like I'd have to go do my flour bags. So I would be allowed to buy this product over and over again with the same amount of really good magic, which is Dove's, it says Dove's Farm Fine Plain White or Fine Plain Wholemeal Flour. And each new variation, again, just like the soap, Faith in Nature, just like that, like with each variation, so this is not a genome. A genome would be 2 of the same exact bags, emptied, like the product's been used, it's not been wasted, it's filled, this is a dahlia loop, that's not a repellent script, get that away, get it away, like that's not my repellent scriptum, that's a dahlia loop. It's these, where it took me an hour to do just that. And I put it, and then I have everything sewn into the package. And then the package is completely covered from head to toe, at least on the outside. It might be good to have it on the inside too. We don't know. So probably, yeah, as much as possible. So then I have to do this one also because I use this flour even on the table. So now this is repellent scriptum. I have another bag with the same exact product. Okay. If I'm going to use green tea matcha, this is my inexpensive matcha. Ooh, cool. The one that cost me 5 pounds instead of 10 pounds. And I can get it from the Asian food market. And it's nice. It tastes really good. So I need at least one more of these and I can create the genome, same thing. But I have all these, I used to buy that Clear Spring version. Let's say this again. I used to buy the $20 matcha tea, or it was 12 pounds for a bag at this size. So now I have to go back and buy those 2 bags and add the repellent script. There's another 50 to 100 hours of my time because I used it. And then we have all the coffee. So now this is a $8 pound. This is 8 pounds of coffee, and it's like, yeah. So this is my new heightened CRI coffee, and the same thing. I saved the bag, and then I should have saved the top, and then had Repello Squibtum wrapped around the top of the bag too, and then tossed that in. And I was stupid. Let me say that again. I didn't save the top seal and wrap it and then throw it into the bag. So that was stupid. And I'm gonna have to make that, like, I'm gonna redo that. Okay, so here's my glutamine, and I'm gonna be required to buy one more of these, and I'm gonna be required to buy one more of these at least. And this was from the intestines cleanse. I'm probably required to buy these again anyway, just to prolong my intestinal healing. And again, another 400 hours of Ravello's Squibtum. And then both these packages will be, and then I'm allowed to buy the same product. And then it has the same amount of Netzach spell to it. Oh my God. Do you see how the consumer is at fault? And when you realize that the consumer is a bad person for even buying it, like you're just punished if you like are lazy. Okay, so this came from Hufflepuff. It's one of my favorite cups. I use it as a match container. So it's kind of like a magic, it's a magic cup for me. I only have one and I can find it at the grocery store and it costs like £3. And so I will buy it and I will wrap the twin. And that's a nice little Hufflepuffy experience. Okay, so now we're going to talk about bathroom products. Here's my toothbrush. I like this toothbrush and I need to replace it. So now when I replace it, I wrap this. I wrap it, and then when I replace it again, I wrap the twin. You see, I shouldn't buy the product unless I like it, and I would buy it over and over and over again. Let's say this again. I should not be buying the product ever unless I liked it, and I would rebuy the product over and over and over again because I'm not allowed the material that this product was made out of. So as I go to replace it, it will be nice because I liked it, and then I will have this wrapped. This is filthy. So there's like all this mold and stuff on my razor, and I want to go buy a new razor. So now that's another £20 purchase. Same thing with the cartridges. That's £40 right there. I will have these wrapped, and then again when I have the twin, it will have a genome set. Here is a comb that cost me like £10 and it was lovely. And it's like that, it's just one of those really nice quality combs. And I will buy it again. And I will have this wrapped. I've had that comb for like 4 years. Dish sponges. Okay. So now I will be wrapping these in the Dahlia stuff. And even if I don't buy these again, because they're cheap and they're crappy, I did use them. Let's say this again. I did use them. Doesn't matter if I was the one who bought it or my boyfriend was the one who bought it. I used them. And I was using them with all of my thought magic. And so I am now required to Ravello's Squibtum the set, and it is a genome set. Okay, I was given a set of free pens when I made my London sweatshirt purchases from a gift store. I will never use these pens, and I am required to grid them. So maybe if I... maybe. Maybe. Maybe I shouldn't take presents unless I want to use them in the future, unless I'd be willing to purchase them with my own money. Maybe that's the A&R version is like, don't even take a gift unless you'd be willing to pay for it and willing to grid it. Period. Okay. So then we have the A&R writing pens. So, oh my God, So maybe I should wait till the ink is out and I'm ready to actually throw them away. Maybe not, maybe yeah, so that sounds like the better version. There's a smarter thing, like it becomes magic after I've actually used it to death. So every time I do my A&R pages, it's with the same exact pen. Let's say this again. I have a collection of the same exact pens, and I will do the genomes for the ribbons. Okay, Sharpies, same thing. A pair of Sharpies. This is a pair of my magic. This is my magic. Let's say this again. So I have a pair of Sharpies that are gridded. Maybe after the ink runs out, so it's not wasteful. Or it's gridded so I can take the top off and use it, and then it's fine. And then after it's done, then I re-grid it. Okay, I found a pair of pencils that are exactly the same. I tied a rubber band, like those rubber bands that are cemented for me, got tied to the top of one of them. And here's our genome. Do you see how like one's better than the other because of the rubber band? Yeah. And then one has more writing. So this one's stronger. So I found these on different sides of London on the ground. So when I find mint that's identical, or I don't want to call it non-mint, or like street drops, or like any kind of glitter wand pickup, and I find like magical objects that are identical, and I want to keep, like if I'm going to add them to a wand, I'm going to Repello Squibtum grid them. And that's why our trash wands were our trash wands, because we didn't Repello Squibtum grid anything. Let me say that again. Our trash ones, our glitter ones were trash ones because we didn't Repello Squibtum and all the product and then add it to the wand. Yeah. All right. So try to get out of this. Try to think you're better than this. It's gonna be humility in the face. So this, I'm trying to think of all the lighters that I go through that I find and that I find twins of. So all my twin lighters have to be Repello Squibtumed. Yeah. Even if I find them on the ground. All right, box of matches. So same thing. I should only buy this box of matches then. Also, oh no, I'm not gonna be in London. But at least this box of matches is Repello Squibtum. And then maybe my magic works for another match when I'm in desperate need 30 years down the road. The echinacea that I was forced to buy. So I was told to buy the double size, but I couldn't afford it. So now I'm going to be buying another one of this size, and I will be buying the double size down the road, and then another one of the double size down. So now I have four Repello Squibtumed bottles of just the echinacea drops for the telomere binding diet. Yep. All right, so all my oils. Here is I buy the Tisserand company. I generally like it. Maybe I should do the Mountain Rose herbs. This one's not that expensive. I know I have to buy a neroli oil and a orange oil for the magic I did on Chris. Let me say that again. So I bought like $60 of oil to do a certain magic on Chris last year. Now I have to buy another bottle. of both those oils and do the Repellus Squibtum grid on it and have it inside. And then I'll be asked to buy another bottle and Repellus Squibtum it as a working set of genome. Man, maybe the magic will work really well after I put in the extra $200 and 10, 20 hours of work. Oh no, is that gross? Each brand, let me say this again. Each brand of toilet paper. Every single new brand of toilet paper gets Repellus Squibtum. This matters. So you'll have a section in your closet that's just like this. That's all you see. Okay, I'm going to talk about gifts or street food. I'm not allowed to buy it. I'm going to keep saying that. I'm not allowed to buy anything. I'm not allowed to buy coffee. Like, I buy a recycled thing because I have a Pret subscription that Simon paid for, and it says I will chop your head off from God, right? God will chop my head. I'm not allowed to buy anything. So around town, around Portobello, there's this boba store. And like it's tea. Like, I'm not allowed to go buy a boba to buy a boba drink. So sometimes people leave entire boba drinks on the street, and I'm allowed to pick. They're full. They're just like full of boba. Maybe somebody took a sip of it and didn't like it, and then it's just sitting on the street. So I take. So I'm allowed that in my it's a humility purchase, but it's also like an exhaustion. Like, I just went on an 8-mile walk and now I get a free treat. So if I'm taking free treats off the street, it's definitely Repellus Squibtum gridded, and I'm required to get its matching set. I am also required to save the straw and Repellus Squibtum the straw. And now I'm probably able to offset, let me say this, I'm probably able to offset any of the diseases later down the road because I put all the Repellus Squibtum on it. From sharing illnesses or colds. This is my deodorant. I have to have men's deodorant because I sweat a lot. Say this again. I'm a sweater. Dripping sweat. So I need men's deodorant. And I like the idea that I buy organic deodorant is like, it didn't work. So this is illegal. This is illegal. So if I ever buy it again, it definitely gets gridded. This is an illegal purchase, 100%, but it works. Let me say this again. It works. And then I'm not repugnant towards the people around me. And then this is the other verse. So mostly I use this. It's the organic activated charcoal. So again, I have a matching genome set. This is not a matching, so it would be this and this. And then it would be this and this. And they're definitely Repellus Squibtum if I'm ever allowed to buy that product again, right? If I'm not allowed to buy that product again, it still gets gridded as a punishment And you got to understand that in life. Okay, so have we gotten through everything? No, we have not gotten through everything. Is that a red tag in your shoe? Yes, that's a red tag in my shoe. It's a reminder that we're red striping through the feet. So I was required to put in some ribbons to show how pathetic and dumb that was, because what I am required to do is I'm required to get the same pair of shoes because I'm willing to put my life on the shoes that I purchased. I'm willing to put my life on the shoes that I purchased, and I'm willing to sew that Repello squibtum all on, like it will be covered and it will be filled. And it will be sewn on the inside, and and then the tongue will be sewed. When I buy the same exact shoes, I love these shoes because I can toe train on with these shoes. I couldn't toe train with any other shoes. I can actually strengthen my ankles. It's amazing. Misty said she would get me on like toe training, like just stupid little stuff, like even just standing or like walking, just or just doing like eleves. And I can do that with these shoes. So I'd be willing not just to put 60 pounds onto my shoes, but to put 120 pounds on my shoes and 400 hours into my shoes. Instead of being a sociopath, I can see where the planet is, and I can see my own materialism imprint that I make onto the planet. All right, let's talk about free gifts. Oh, that's ugly. That's nasty. Let's take off the hat. I have hat hair. There. Okay, so I got this free hat. Let's say that again. I got a free hat for Christmas. It was in the street. It was on the 7th House Netzach line. And I go, that was from Marshall, because it was from Marshall's wand. Like, he's sending me free gifts. So what I'm required now to do is look at the tag and buy the same exact hat and do the grid. And it's a cashmere. Okay. So it doesn't matter. It is the fact that I am consuming. I am the active, so I have to research and seek out its twin. And then I'm required to grid on it. Somebody says, if I have to do that to my iPhone, I'm going to go insane. This, I don't know about, maybe when it dies and you buy the same one or to upgrade. Okay, so I buy these fancy headphones and I have to keep buying the same exact set. And they cost me about 20 pounds. And they break a lot. Let me say this, they break a lot. So I'm definitely going to be required to do the Repello squibtum on any new color. So I'm going to buy, I'm buying a version for Isla because it has Isla's colors, and then a version for McKenna. And I am required to at least grid one of them maybe I'm supposed to buy 3 and then have a genome gridded for them, or like I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. Or maybe I'm supposed to buy them a set and then make them do their nodding so that they learn their magic. Yeah. And it's probably that one. Here's our Archangel Kamael anti-evil eyes for red striping. So this is the beginning of, so this is really serious because this is way too, these are the big ones. These Repellus scriptums equal that. So that's just like, that's the narcissism one. Let's say that again. So this is the narcissism version of Repellus scriptum. So I'm supposed to get the 1 millimeter ribbon and cut it in half and then have it in between every single bead. And then find a way to do like probably a 5-strand braid around this golden chain. And then have the Repellus scriptum sewn onto that also. And then it's a pair of them. So it's a genome set. You see, now I can purchase afterwards. Afterwards, I could purchase this, and it actually has that magic attached to it in my brain because of what I did. And still, it's just a Repellus scriptum magic. It's still just like it's like that's the baseline. Like, you are now able to do magic. Let me say that again. You have permission from Maleficent after you do it the right way to use it as magic. Somebody's saying, oh my God, that's real. So like every single one of these chain holes will have a little Repellus scriptum attached to it. Every single one of them. Okay. We're going to talk about the like buying earrings and stuff. So this is like the blue marks. So this is a Zen riddle. Am I supposed to find and buy the exact same pair, or is the pair enough? So this was a purchase for the Ravenclaw genetics. Okay. All right. So now we're going to talk about the blueberry Christmas tree, which is a requirement. This is just a quick version. So you're going to tell the difference between a Ravenclaw and a Gryffindor real fast. This is going to be why. Because a Ravenclaw will hear what Maleficent says and then obey. All right, so this is our blueberry Christmas tree. And you are required to have a Repellus scriptum on every, so each of these is 1 inch. So the blueberries are like 1 inch big. And then you have the Repellus scriptum attached to you will have at least 500 of these blueberries. Let me say this again. You will have 500 of these blueberries, and there might be a variation where it sparkles or it shines. You will have these attachments, right? So this one is lacking in that silver strand, but it still exists. Woohoo! So you're going to receive like downloads and lessons for why you're doing this. It's amazing. And you're going to hear about like blueberry spice pie. I'm not joking. All right, so this is going to be the difference between a Gryffindor and a Ravenclaw. Is you're going to see this extra space, and a Ravenclaw will hear Maleficent go, fill it completely. I hate seeing the strand, and I hate seeing these prongs. And you are going to Repello Squibtum every single one of those little prongs with a teeny Repello Squibtum, and you are going to, that is the difference between a Ravenclaw who is a master of obedience and can hear Maleficent. So Maleficent's filled with hate. I hate the silver strand. I do not want to see the silver at all. This will be all wire or all ribbon wrapped. So that's at least 4 or 5 more of those Repello Squibtums. And then you'll have baby versions on 500 blueberries. Now, you will save these because they are, yeah, so you'll save them, and whatever you can't get done this year, you'll get done next year. And then the next year. So the following year, it should just be completely covered. And we're going to cover that in one of the videos. See how good that looks versus just, you see how much time is like spent? So it's in the quantum world, it's about time and CRI purchase analysis. Let me say this again. In the quantum world, it is about time and CRI return analysis, or CRI return. So the highest quality product that you could find on the market, which had been given time by somebody else, it's probably it's not a cheap product. It is all about the time you're willing to put into it also. So this and this. So does anybody see the difference yet? So this vibes at Netzach, and this vibes at Target Hode. Let's say this again. This vibes at Netzach, and this vibes at Target or Walmart Hode. Let me say this again. This vibes at Netzach, and this vibes at Target Hode or Walmart. This vibes at Netzach, and this are we done yet? This vibes at Netzach, and this vibes at Hode. Which Muggle? So I have my, so We started it about, so I have a container. This is my Christmas basket. As light, it's the Christmas tree lights. So the basket should be covered. Let's say this again. We bought our Christmas tree and it came with this basket. So like next year, we should do the same thing and have a pair of matching baskets, and then it should be Rapello Squibtums. Oh, I don't like the way that looks. So then if you don't like the way it looks, you have the Rapello Squibtums hidden in your closet with everything else that's Rapello Squibtums. Yeah. But you have at least one. Okay. So it doesn't matter if it's an addition to something else you purchased. It will be, so like this, vibes at Hode. So you have all those Christmas ornaments. We're going to do that. We're going to talk about that real quick. So this is the real world. Here's look at this. Your elephant upside, yeah, this is your elephant ass. This is the light, says prices. So I'm required to spend 20 pounds on ribbons and tea lights. Let me say this again. A week. And what that is, that's the lesson that this ribbon is the light, and we are lighting up the actual prices to everything. The price of the energetic return, the price of, I have a broken ornament, it gets gridded. Every single ornament has at least one of these on it. Maybe it should have 10. And then you can see the ornament still, maybe. Maybe you have a red ball from like last Christmas, and this is from our junky rip. This was the junk version. And then we have like 10 of these attached, and these are also just like an inch big. The point is that if I put any money into something, then I am putting Netzach on it at least 20 hours, because I wasn't allowed that to begin with. So it's my act of gratitude. What can I give back to the planet surrounding what I stole? So like, I'm required to buy another one of these boxes, even though this is the crazy price version one. I'm required to buy another one of these. So this was like 10 tea lights for about 3.5 pounds. It says prices. So I will be required to buy another one of these boxes. I'll take off the price tag. We're going to talk about D-labels in 1 second. One more, and then it will be completely Rapello Squibtum gridded. And then if I buy bags, whatever brand I buy, also Rapello Squibtum gridded, because I'm not allowed that package to begin with. Okay, so before I Rapello Squibtum grid anything, I take off the label, because the label's from Hode. So I soak it and I make sure it's clean before I even do the artwork on the bottle. Let me say this again. I take off the label and then I do all of this to it. Mandatory. So when I light a tea light, my brain should only be thinking about this. Same thing with this. I purchased a bunch of these. I do magic with a bunch of these, the same specific candle holders, or I get the fancy expensive salt tea light candle holders. And I did all these magics with them. And so I will grid them. Just a pair. It's a pair of genomes. So this was a cute little elephant that I found on the street, and I don't have its partner. So how do I manifest its partner? It will haunt me for the rest of my life. Okay. One more thing. Do you see the difference between this one and this one? Now, I know it's not about the lid, is it? It's not the lid. Does everybody understand? This is what started to me. She didn't even do this. She did this. And then she pointed her finger and then said, Selena did it. And then Star said that Star did it. So that's what happened. At best, Star did this instead of finish it. Anything, literally ever. And she definitely didn't do this. At best, she did this. There was never anything that Star gave that was a set that was well done and packaged. And I have to do 10 of them and the lids and then Rapello's squib tummet just to do a grape jelly offering. And then I have to add a lot more money to it on top of it. Okay. So this is a con. And when it's all done, it might look like a flower. Just know it. Just know it. All right, I think we're done with show and tell. Man. Trying to see if there's anything else. This. You're supposed to buy a pair of genomes. So maybe I'm required to get Funny Wilson and the Hierophant and grid them again. Maybe I have to find them again. And that's scary. That is scary. Otherwise, I'm going to feel like I'm haunted for infinity. Okay. All it says is, you were stupid. Why did you do what you did? And the answer is because I was cheap and lazy. Let's say this again. Repeat after me. Why did you do what you did? This is what Maleficent says. Why did you do what you did? And this is where you repeat after me. Because I was cheap and lazy. Say it. Because I was cheap and lazy. And there is no other answer than that. Prices. Light up my prices. So this keeps you a minimalist because you go, I do not want to grid up more genomes. You're going to start living like a Steve Jobs person, and you're going to realize how much your life is dumb. Everybody's life is dumb. Their stuff is dumb. Their magic is dumb. I have not seen anything that was smart. I have this. What do I do with this? Save it. Put it in the Gryffindor cup. All right. So even just your keychain has at least 2 of these on it. Maybe it has 3. Do I have room for it? I have room for a third one. So there we go. There's the answer. Okay. Screen share. We're going to talk about 7th house ribbons in 1 second. Can you do that? Do you think you will be expected to do that 2 times over? Can you do that? You will be expected to, these are your stockings. Let me say this again. These are your stockings. Can you do that? Here are my Yoda balls. I love Celtic knot scarves. Here we go. It's that one. Does that one pop out? Does this pop out? You're gonna learn Celtic knots. There it is. Here's your cobra acid. You will have that pattern on a pair of stockings, on a pair of pants, on a pair, yeah, and plus those other stockings too, probably. On a sweater, on a scarf, on a hat, on a pair of gloves, not mittens, gloves, and on a face mask. You will learn that stitch. You will learn a bunch of other stitches and a bunch of other, you will learn a lot of variations of this. that you will learn. You will put together a bodysuit, and then you will probably put together a duplicate bodysuit. And it will be red. Let me say this again. It will be red. Dark red wool. And then you will tie 1,000,000 of those Rapello squibtums to that entire bodysuit. And if you feel like you ruined your genius work, you will do another, and then you'll do another until you get really good, and you can just do another in a few days, etc., etc. Like, you will learn to become abundant in your craft instead of stingy, lazy. You will learn how to reproduce in abundance at a high quality level, or there is no magic going to be given to you. So this is something you will have to accomplish before entering Hogwarts. It will be from the root chakra. I have high quality work. My DNA is clean. I am sophisticated through my earth element, through my earth of earth element. I am able to produce high quality product physically with elegant craft work. That is actual Netzach, not the reverse. The reverse is not Netzach. The reverse is assault. Let me say this again. You will produce high elevated craft work through your root chakra, replicated in abundance, which is Netzach, or you will not be entering the Ascended Master establishment. Point blank. That's just the knitting. Now we're going to talk. This is stupid. The fact that I have to do these videos is ridiculous. Here's the Hufflepuff colors. After your repellent, see that just this is a stupid video. Now you're going to find out how stupid it is. After your 5,000 hours of Rapello squibtum knitting, and you've produced your elegant bodysuits, you've proven you have Netzach quality skill. And that includes your 5,000 hours of litter pickup. What a low bar. You will produce your house ribbons. You are allowed to choose from Hufflepuff, Gryffindor, or Ravenclaw, which is the Malachim, the Seraphim, or the Hashmalim. The Hashmalim is on lockout. So you will have to qualify for specific 7th houses in addition. And you will have to get permission from Kelly. If she is deceased, you'll have to get permission from Jamie Bell, Marshall Mathers, Chris Pratt, and myself. and Isla Winter. So if you want her, if you want in, you will be producing the magic for Kelly to survive and not be tortured. She will not be a hostage of anybody. Okay, Hufflepuff. She will not be blackmailed. Dark forest green. You see that this is dark green. This is not green, it's dark green. And yellow, the dark forest green. This is not goldenrod yellow. This is like bright, deep yellow. That one's kind of goldenroddy. You see this is acceptable for Hufflepuff. After producing enough of the nutsock green, you can produce, here's more yellow for Hufflepuff. You can produce the black ribbons. Hufflepuff probably has issues still in nutsock. They are required to produce the dark forest green because they lack roots. Let me say this again. They are required to produce the dark forest green because they need and require nutsock energy because they lack roots. And then after enough, they can produce the black color. They're still Slytherin-ish, so they are more inclined. This feels better. It feels better. And then they burn it out with the yellow, and then they can do the yellow and black. And then the black represents the soil because they will ground. And maybe the elevated downloads from the Orbs levels of Ascended Masters out there. All right, so that's second house. That's the second house ribbons. All right, here's our fourth house ribbons. For Ravenclaw, you're allowed this color silver. You're not allowed this stone white, like this white is not allowed. This shiny silver is allowed. Shiny silver allowed. That shiny silver is allowed. Shiny silver, that's allowed. More shiny silver allowed. That's allowed. That has a hint of pearl. That's acceptable. That's probably the like that one, not so much. That one's okay, but it's gross. That's gross. This one's allowed. Silver. Silver. Silvery gray. Silver. Do you see it? So that one's not great to do all of the nodding with, but these silvers are. Silver allowed. Here we go. More silver allowed. Do you see where we're good? Dark blue, Ravenclaw. What color blue? So is it this color blue? No. It's not black. It's dark blue. Look, it's dark. It's not cobalt blue. It's dark blue. All right. Do you see how dumb this is to even have this video? Gross. Gryffindor. This is a nice burgundy red. You're allowed this. You're allowed this. You're allowed this. You see? And then you're allowed this. You see how goldenrod instead of yellow? This is not yellow. This is goldenrod. So this is third house ribbons. That's goldenrod. That's not yellow. That, we don't know if that's allowed. All right, so that is plum. That's not burgundy. That's burgundy. That's plum. That's burgundy. That's plum. Okay, do you see the difference? All right, so House of Raziel is a 7th house, and we're going to start with them. House of Raziel legal is like this and this. Let me say this again. It's this and this. So it's burgundy, but it can also vary into that plum. Let me say it again. House of Raziel is a little bit varied. You're allowed burgundy, plum, and you're allowed mint cream. Let's go here. You're allowed this and that. And you're allowed the mint cream. So House of Raziel has, so in the 7th house, it's a little bit more flexible, and we're going to talk about that. Now, House of Raziel, here are 7th houses. In Tiferet, our 7th houses allowed Haniel, Jophiel, and Raphael. Mikael, maybe a little bit. Okay, so that's Hufflepuff, 7th house. There's a little bit of the House of Zodkiel, like 3 people may be allowed to do Hufflepuff and House of Zodkiel. That's it. 3 on a planet of 8 billion people. Those people are special. And they'll probably be given 10 more layers of work. Understand? Okay, so Hufflepuff, 3 houses. Haniel, Jophiel, and Raphael. Okay, here are the Archangel Raphael colors. Is yellow and black. So we're going to say it again. House of Raphael is redundant. So it's yellow and black. So it's another 10,000 hours of yellow and black. Okay. House of Jophiel is like pink and fuchsia. Oh, let's go here. So it's like this and this. Hot, it's like hot pink and like fuchsia pink. Let's go here. House of Jophiel. It's like this pink and then this purpley pink over here. So it's fuchsia and magenta. It's hot pink and fuchsia. Say it again. So none of these are House of Jophiel. And Jophiel is here. It's hot. It's Princess Poppy. Let me say it again. It's hot pink and it's fuchsia. It's Princess Poppy. So you'll have 10,000. So you see, like those are the fun, nice people. So it's like this pink and like this pink. There's some flexibility in the 7th house ribbons because it's like the rainbow bridge of everybody together. Upon entry, you will understand where you're going to go to or who you're binding yourself to in life. All right, let's go back here. House of Haniel. Is this yellow? And like turquoise teal. So it's Elsa, it's an Elsa stripe through yellow. Let's see it here. It is like, I don't see it here. House of Haniel is that would be, if you can only find, it could be like this turquoisey with this yellow. It's probably not the pale yellow, probably just the regular yellow. And then a turquoise or a teal. That one's a little bit blue. Here we go again. It's going to be a turquoise. Yeah, it's not going to be cyan. It's going to be turquoise or teal with yellow. That yellow is perfect. This is the House of Haniel yellow. That yellow is perfect. Here is, so again, it's going to be, oh, we're out. That's not really the good turquoise. It's going to be this color right here with like that color yellow in between the two. Okay, so that's House of Haniel. Okay, so we did the three. So Hufflepuff is Raphael, Jophiel, or Haniel. And Raphael is black and yellow. Jophiel is magenta and fuchsia. And Haniel is yellow and turquoise. There are reasons for each of these colors through the chakra system. Let me see it again. There are reasons for each of these colors on the chakra system and the tree of life. It's how to produce a specific frequency that binds you in a unity grid with that house. You will relate to those people in those houses because you will receive those lessons through those rays of light. As you do your nodding, you will be meditating on that specific color of yellow and that specific color of turquoise. And you will relate to those people because of those specific rays and lessons. And you will do it for 10,000 hours. Okay, now we're going to talk about Gabriel. Woohoo! We have the House of Mikael. I hate. All right, so the House of Mikael is orange and yellow. Let's say this again. The House of Mikael is this yellow, that goldenrod yellow, that darker, deeper one, and orange. So that is for Gryffindor. Yay. Yep, there you go. Yep. Okay, so then we have the House of Gabriel. The House of Gabriel is dark purple and regular purple. Let's say that again. It's that color purple and then dark purple. So this is the perfect purple for the House of Gabriel. And then dark purple. House of Gabriel, so it's not here. So that is really dark purple right there. But the perfect Gabriel colors is this purple and this purple. So it's regular purple and dark purple. You guys are masters of cleaning up the astral planes. And produce, yeah. House of Gabriel is dark purple and regular purple. Okay. Next, the House of Sandalphon is brown and olive. I'm trying to find the olive. It doesn't really work. That one's not good. So here's olive, and then there's the brown. So it's like russet and brown. Let me say this again. House of Sandalphon is olive and brown. It's that burnt umber color right here. Right here. It's olive and burnt. That's House of Sandalphon. Then you guys, we have the House of Camael. Please do not think you're good enough to do the House of Camael without my permission, without having studied and burned. If you're not doing A&R work at 8 hours a day, please understand, we seek to kick people out of that house. We are also required to produce 15 extra ore dragons in A&R work instead of the normal 7th house paperwork. Okay. It's red and black, or it's dark red and black. Let me say that again. It's red and black, or it's dark red and black. Please understand that that means I can go in to the worst scenarios on this planet in existence and bring light in and survive. Do not think you qualify unless you are producing 8 hours of A&R work a day. All right. Now we're going to talk about the House of RAVENCLAW legal. So we have that Hokma house. That's cool. So that's Khaleesi. It's also the FBI. So that's this dark burgundy red and mint cream. There is a reason for this. They can go from almost snow light into higher levels of heart chakra, spiritual heart chakra energy, and bring in the highest level of wisdom as fast as possible. So that's Khaleesi, but it's severe. So it's Gaebra. So the FBI is required to do that. And if you want in that house, if you want in Khaleesi's house in Gryffindor, some of Ravenclaw is allowed of House of RAVENCLAW legal. Okay. Next. How, like, who's allowed in the House of Zofkiel? No, nobody. Okay, but here are the House of Zofkiel colors. This is Marshall Mather's house. It's black and dark purple. Nobody's allowed in the House of Zofkiel unless they do the House of Honiel work also, which is that green, that turquoise and yellow. Or another house. Marshall has to do House of Honiel with House of Zofkiel ribbons. All right. Okay. Now we're going to go into Ravenclaw. Kelly will accept a few people from the House of Mikael, a few. House of Zofkiel. House of Camael. House of Zodkiel, obviously, and a number of House of Jophiel. She will accept House of Jophiel because they're usually redundant, nice, and obedient. Let me say this again. She will accept people from the House of Jophiel because they are redundant, they have no self-importance, they are obedient, and they are kind. Into Ravenclaw. So Ravenclaw. So that's why Ravenclaw lasagna might look like hot pink and blue. Yep. They have no problems receiving direction. They're not self-important. Their care or concern is for the general welfare of others. That's their general personality type. And they may be like problem solvers in personality and in discipline. Okay, so here are Ravenclaw colors is silver and blue. That blue is a little bit bright. That it could be darker blue. Let me say that again. But for House of Zodkiel ribbons, the 7th house of Zodkiel, it is that blue and that black. Let me say that again. That is the perfect Hesed blue. And that is black for House of Zodkiel. Okay. Now, if you did House of Ratzia legal and you cross the abyss and you're in the 7th house, and you want to go and study with the Ophanim, and you want the House of Raziel official, it's that color silver and that color silver. So it's like, it also could be Gainsborough and silver. If I was going to do House of Raziel ribbons, I would do probably that gray, that greenish gray silver and regular silver. I was going to do that myself. So that is if you're going to study to be an Ophanim and you did enough of your order level work, period. So that's that. That's a second 7th house. Let me say this again. That's after you have accumulated the wisdom of another 7th house. Just like the House of Zofkiel, which is another second 7th house. The purple and black. The dark purple and black. That's a second 7th house. House of Kamail is kind of like a second 7th house, but it's not official. Again, if you're in Geberah, it's House of Mikael, House of Gabriel, House of Sandalphon, House of Kamael, House of Zofkiel, House of Raziel legal. If you're in Ravenclaw, it's House of Jophiel, House of Mikael a little bit, House of Zodkiel, House of Kamael, and they separate House of Raziel. They don't take House of Raziel legal. They will take, so that's just that. They might take some in House of Raziel. Probably about the same, maybe a little bit bigger than House of Mikael. We will see. All right. We have no House of Metatron. Let me say this again. Nobody on this planet is even sophisticated enough at all to do a second layer of Ophanim ribbons to be qualified for the House of Metatron. At all. That will be 70,000 hours of ribbons. There is too much white light, self-importance psychosis on this planet. And nobody is doing anything physically. Nobody is vibing at white light at all. They are psychos. If Isla, Elsa, the brightest white light on this planet, is not allowed, then nobody is. And she is the star in the movie Stardust. That's what her aura looks like. She's a vein. If she is not allowed, Nobody's allowed. She gets yellow and turquoise. If she does a second, seventh house, she'll do House of Kamail on top of it. Okay. And then she might do, this is Isla, a House of Zofkiel on top of that. Just so you guys understand, Isla. And then she would do her Ophanim, maybe. Or she'll do her 8th house ribbons. Oh my God. Okay, so after you get your second 7th house, you'll do your 8th house ribbons. And it will look like this purple and then this lavender. It's like a fuchsia lavender. This is to look like the sacred trees. So it's purple and it's to look like the sacred trees in Avatar. So it's this bright purple and then like a lavender. These are not pretty enough. Yeah. You'll find it. That's too fuchsia. But you will be building DNA willow, like willow tree attachments, basically. So that's for the 8th house. Once you have your 8th house ribbons done, you know that your soul is allowed to be on this planet for good. You will have earned your actual rights to be a forever citizen of this planet through Mother Earth's laws and universal laws. Everybody is a guest until they have their 8th house ribbons. They will behave like an ascended master, like they are raping a planet until they fix their behavior. And they will get to the point where they're an 8th house graduate, where they are now taken in by the planet as a permanent citizen. They are, I don't want to say they're considered a Navi. They are now an official sole permanent resident citizen of this planet. 8th house is the desirable house of infinity. When you have an 8th house nexa, everyone in the 7th house desires an 8th house nexa. You don't want to feel like you're a guest on this planet. Once you do all your nexa assignments and work and have been gifted the right to exist here for good, it's just love. You behave like you and Mother Earth are the same. And you feel you are not separate at all from this planet. You are like Navi tapped into this planet, but from an ascended master level, not from a dumb indigenous that cannot produce magic level. Let me say this again. The Navi at Pandora are first housers. They do not produce the mental sophistication required to ascend a tree of life past first house. Those movies were built by a Muggle. They are not ascended masters. They are first house Navi indigenous. That's beautiful and acceptable. 8th house is like you're an ascended master, bodhisattva, that has now been taken in by the plant. So that's Kali, taken in by the planet as a permanent guardian and resident forever. At that level, you share the planet with Kali as a guardian, as a society. Period. All right. I think we're good to go. That is our current Hogwarts 7th house system. Kali Run out.